Enough. You know, ladies, let me tell you something that you might not hear too often from men, but I promise you is real. When a woman tells her man, I'm proud of you, that right there is like giving him emotional oxygen. We breathe that in deep. You don't even understand how powerful those 4 words can be to a man. See, we live in a world that constantly puts pressure on us to perform, to be strong, to provide, to protect, and truthfully, we're carrying a lot, but we don't show it. We're not wired to cry about it, to complain about it, or to ask for help. We just push through. Every day, a man walks out into a world that doesn't care how tired he is. It doesn't care about his fears, his doubts, his failures. The world don't say, hey, are you okay? No, the world says, what can you do? And so we go to work, we hustle, we grind. Not just for us, but for you, for the woman we love, for the future we're trying to build. But you know what hurts? Doing all that and feeling invisible at home. Coming back to the one place where you should feel valued and not hear anything. That's why when a man gets a message from his woman saying, I'm proud of you, it's like somebody just opened the window and let some light in. He might be at work, sitting at his desk, head down, dealing with stress, deadlines, pressure, and then ding, he checks his phone, and there it is. I'm proud of you, baby. I see how hard you're working. You don't even know what that does to us. It's like suddenly the day don't feel so heavy anymore. His back straightens up a little bit. He walks with a little more confidence. You just gave him a reason to keep going. See, ladies, men don't always say it, but we're hungry for emotional support. We might not call it that. We might call it respect or being appreciated, but it's the same thing. We want to know that what we're doing matters to the person we're doing it for. That somebody sees our effort, that someone notices the sacrifices, the late nights, the extra job, the early mornings, the things we do in silence. When you send that little message, I'm proud of you, what you're really saying is, I see you, I see everything you're trying to do for us, and I respect it. No, well, look, I ain't talking about fake flattery. Men can spot that too. I'm talking about sincerity. It don't have to be dramatic or poetic. It can be simple. You've been doing your thing lately, and I'm proud of you. Or even, I saw how you handled that situation. That was real leadership. I'm proud of the man you are. That right there, that's like fuel in the tank. Let me tell you something about how men work. When a man feels admired by his woman, he'll move mountains for her. He'll go to war, emotionally, spiritually, financially, whatever it takes. But when he feels like nothing he does is ever enough, that he could give you the moon and you'd still ask for a star, that breaks a man down. You don't always see it right away, but eventually it shows. He gets quieter. He pulls back. He stops dreaming out loud. He starts to feel like no matter what he does, it won't be enough. And if a man starts feeling like he's failing in your eyes, he might stop trying altogether. Or flip that around. A man who feels like a hero in his woman's eyes, he becomes a better version of himself. He wants to show up, he wants to lead, he wants to protect and provide and grow. Not because you nagged him into it, but because you believed in him. You were proud of him before he got the promotion, before the big win, before the success. You saw the man he's becoming, not just the man he is right now. That's powerful. That's what builds connection. That's what builds loyalty. And ladies, I promise you, if you start saying, I'm proud of you more often, when he least expects it, when he's tired, when he's doubting himself, you're going to see a change, not just in him, but in the relationship. Because you're feeding something in him that most people overlook. The world don't stop to congratulate us, but if you do, if you make that effort, you're going to see a side of your man you've never seen before. Let me tell y'all something that women don't always realize. Appreciation goes a long, long way with a man. Now, I ain't talking about throwing a parade every time he takes the trash out or clapping because he opened the door. No, I'm talking about real appreciation. The kind that reaches into a man's heart and lets him know, I see you, I see what you're doing, and it means something to me. Men, real men, are wired to provide, not just financially. I'm talking about providing stability, protection, support, solutions. That's how we measure ourselves. It's how we gauge our worth in a relationship. We're constantly thinking, am I doing enough? Am I holding it down? And when we do things, from fixing the faucet to making sure the family's taken care of, we may not say it out loud, but deep down, we're hoping you notice, we're hoping you evaluate it. And when we hear those words, I appreciate you, it lands like a reward. See, the world rarely tells men thank you. When we step up, people say, well, that's what you're supposed to do. When we're consistent, folks ignore it. But let a man slip up once, and suddenly everybody's got something to say. So when the woman he loves takes a moment to acknowledge the everyday effort, the quiet sacrifices, that's rare. That's powerful. That's unforgettable. You'd be surprised how far a little appreciation can go. Let me paint you a picture. A man wakes up early, goes to a job he may not love, deals with traffic, deadlines, pressure, and maybe even folks who don't respect him. Then he comes home and he's still got to be on, attentive, patient, helpful. He may not be perfect, but he's trying. And all he really wants is to feel like those efforts matter to you. Not just when he buys something big or shows up in a grand way, but in the small, everyday grind. A quick text during the day saying, hey, I just wanted to say I appreciate how hard you work for us. That can shift a man's entire mindset. It recharges him. You think we don't want to hear that? We crave that. We may not ask for it. Pride won't let us. But we need it just like anybody else. The difference is most men have been conditioned to live without it. So when we get it from you, from the woman we love, it sticks with us. It fills up a tank we didn't even know was running on empty. Now, don't get me wrong. This ain't about stroking egos. It's about speaking life into your man. There's a difference. Ego wants to be flattered. The soul wants to be seen. When you say, I appreciate how you always take care of things, or I notice how you handle that situation, thank you, what you're doing is feeding the part of him that needs to feel valued. And let me tell you this, the more a man feels appreciated, the more he wants to give. He becomes more generous, more open, more connected. Because when you appreciate a man, you unlock his drive to do more, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Appreciation isn't just a thank you, it's a form of recognition. It says, I notice the things you do even when no one else does. Now, I know some folks will say, well, what about me? I do a lot too. And you're right, you deserve appreciation too. But we ain't talking about keeping score here. This ain't about who does more. It's about creating a culture of gratitude in your relationship. When both people feel seen and valued, the whole thing runs smoother. But you'd be amazed what happens when you take the first step, when you lead with kindness, with thankfulness, that energy comes right back to you. And I'll say this too, appreciation don't always have to be in words. Sometimes it's in the little gestures. Making his favorite meal, giving him a break when he's clearly exhausted, backing him up when he's facing a tough decision. Those things say, I appreciate you without a word. But trust me, when you put the words with the actions, that's a double dose of love right there. Some of y'all are sitting on the kind of love that can heal your man, energize him, push him into his purpose. And all it takes is choosing to speak life over him. Choosing to say, thank you, I see you, I appreciate you. Not because he's perfect, but because he's trying. Because he's showing up. Because he's your man and he's doing what he can to love and lead the best way he knows how. So if you're wondering why your man's pulling away, feeling discouraged, or just going quiet, try appreciation. Before you criticize, appreciate. Before you ask for more, appreciate what's already being done. You'd be surprised how many men just want to know they're enough. Let me tell you something, ladies. You don't have to write a love poem or send a long paragraph every day. Sometimes all it takes to make a man feel special is 5 little words. I was thinking about you. That's it. Simple. But don't let the simplicity fool you. That message right there carries weight. Because when a man gets that kind of text, what he hears underneath is you matter. You're on my mind. You're not just a part of my day. You're a part of my heart. Now look, men don't say this stuff out loud. We're not out here having group chats about our feelings like y'all do, but we feel it. And deep down, we want to feel chosen, desired, remembered. We want to know that when we walk out the door, we didn't just fade into the background of your busy schedule. We want to feel like we still exist in your world, even when we're not right in front of you. And that's why a little message like I was thinking about you hits different. See, a lot of men are used to feeling like they only get attention when something is needed from them. Can you do this? Or don't forget that. It's always about responsibility, but when he sees a message that has no request, no demand, no complaint, just pure, simple affection, it softens him. It reminds him of who you are together, not just what he's supposed to do. Now let me break it down even further. There are all kinds of ways you can say, I was thinking about you, and each one tells a story. Maybe you send him a song that reminds you of him. Maybe it's a photo from a memory y'all shared, or a little inside joke. You don't have to be a poet, just be genuine. Because when a man sees that kind of message, his whole vibe changes. You could catch him right in the middle of a tough day and suddenly he's smiling at his phone like a fool. Not because the message was long, but because the message was real. Let me give you an example. Let's say your man's at work. He's in a stressful meeting. He's dealing with a boss who don't understand him or coworkers who don't pull their weight. He's grinding it out. He ain't complaining. He's just dealing with it. And in the middle of all that, he checks his phone, and there it is. Hey, just thinking about you. Hope your day's going okay. Can't wait to see you later. That right there, that's better than lunch. That's a mental recharge. That little text might be the thing that keeps him going for the rest of the day. To himself, it's about connection. Because in relationships, especially long-term ones, the little sparks start to fade if you don't keep lighting them. That I was thinking about you text, that's a spark. It says, you're still on my heart. It says, even in the middle of everything I've got going on, you still matter to me. That kind of energy keeps love alive. And fellas, let me flip this for a second. This works both ways. Women want to feel thought about too. It ain't just about who's doing what for who. It's about mutual care, mutual attention. But today, I'm speaking to the ladies. And I'm telling you, this one move is quiet, but it's powerful. Some women only send sweet messages on birthdays, anniversaries, or when their man does something big. But let me tell you, a good man doesn't just want to feel appreciated on special occasions. He wants to feel wanted on ordinary days. Those are the ones that count the most. That random Tuesday when you're both busy and tired, that's when a sweet, thoughtful message hits the hardest. And don't get it twisted. This ain't about being clingy or needy. There's a difference between being emotionally connected and being emotionally demanding. When you say, I was thinking about you, you're not asking for anything. You're giving something. You're giving presence. You're giving love. And that gift is one of the few things in life that costs nothing but means everything. There are men out here who haven't heard anything affectionate in months. They show up, they do what they're supposed to do, but emotionally, they feel invisible. And all it would take to light that man up again is a little thoughtful reminder that he's still wanted, that he's still special, that he's still on your mind. You don't need to overthink it, just think of him and let him know. Maybe he told you something about his day and later you follow up with, I was thinking about what you said. Hope it worked out. That shows you're listening, that you care. Or maybe he's got a big meeting and you can shoot him a quick, thinking about you. Go crush it today. That's support, that's belief, that's love in action. And don't be surprised if that little message turns into a big shift in your relationship. Men are simple in some ways, but we're not unfeeling. We remember the women who made us feel loved without needing a reason. We remember the ones who saw us even when we were quiet. And when you become that woman, the one who thinks of him, cares for him, and lets him know, you'll see just how deeply a man can love back. Let me tell you something that goes deeper than love, deeper than attraction, deeper than romance. It's the kind of thing that holds a man together when life is falling apart. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's powerful. It's when a woman looks her man in the eye or sends a quiet little message and says, I got you. Or, we're in this together. Now, you want to talk about something that makes a man feel like he can face the world? That's it right there. That's the kind of message that don't just touch a man's heart. It gets down in his soul. It tells him he's not alone. It tells him he doesn't have to carry everything on his own back, and that's rare. Because let's be honest, most men don't feel that. Most men feel like everything's on them and they can't afford to break, because if they do, everything else breaks too. Men are trained from a young age to be strong. Don't cry. Don't complain. Handle it. Be the man. And we try to live up to that. We try to be the rock, the provider, the leader, the protector. But even rocks crack under pressure. Even strong men get tired. Even the most confident man has moments when he questions if he's really enough. And when he's in that moment, when he's looking at bills he don't know how to pay, or facing a decision that could change everything, or carrying a pressure that's weighing heavy on his chest, and you send a message saying, I know it's hard, but I got you. It does something to him. It resets him. Because suddenly he's not in the fight alone. Suddenly it's not just his burden, it's y'all's journey. That right there is what makes a man fall in love for life. I'm talking about the kind of love that don't fade when things get hard. Because a woman who stands beside you when you're down, that's the woman you build a life with. That's the woman that makes a man look at her like, I'd go through anything for her. Because when I was low, she lifted me. When I was scared, she gave me strength. Sometimes it don't even take a deep conversation. Maybe he's quiet. He's sitting there lost in his thoughts, trying to figure out how to fix something he ain't even told you about yet, and you just reach over and say, whatever it is, we'll handle it. Together. That moment right there, that's love. That's safety. That's what makes a man soften, open up, and trust you with the parts of him that nobody else gets to see. You see, most men are walking around armored up. They don't show their weakness. They don't talk about their fears. But when a man feels safe with you, when he knows that you're not going to judge him, laugh at him, or leave him when things get tough, he'll give you all of him. Not just the good parts, Not just a strong, confident, polished version. He'll give you the real him. And that's where real intimacy begins. When you send him a message like, I believe in you no matter what, or even if things fall apart, I'll still be here. You're doing something sacred. You're letting him excel. You're giving him a safe place to land. And in return, you're going to get a version of that man nobody else has ever seen. Not his boys, not his coworkers, not even his mama. Because a man only reveals his deepest self to the woman he trusts the most. That kind of love, that's different. That's rare. And I'll tell you what, a man never forgets a woman who stood with him through the storm. You might not have had all the answers. You might not have fixed the problem, but you didn't flinch. You didn't run. You didn't say, figure it out and then come back. No, you said, we'll figure it out together. And ladies, don't underestimate how powerful that makes you, because it takes a strong, secure, emotionally intelligent woman to hold space for a man when he's vulnerable. And it don't make you weak. It makes you solid. It makes you the foundation he wants to build on. That's when a man stops looking anywhere else. That's when he puts both feet in and says, this is my woman. She's my partner, my peace, my home. And look, life is going to throw curveballs. That's just a fact. There's going to be days when money's tight, when jobs are uncertain, when dreams feel far away. But if your man knows that you're not just there for the mountaintop, but for the valley too, you're building something unbreakable. So when you send him a little message in the middle of the chaos and it says, whatever happens, I got you, trust me. That's not just a text. That's a vow. That's a promise. That's love in its realest form.